Any person other than the applicant wishing to speak before either committee must fill out a registration slip, which can be found outside either of the doors, and you can turn them in here at the desk to Todd. Let's see how you thumb
Thank
it.
you, John. John gave me the thumbs up. We'll get started. I'll call this meeting of Waushara County Board of Adjustments to order. This meeting will begin with a public hearing. Anyone other than the applicant or the representative wishing to speak must register and submit the registration slip to the zoning administrator at this time. Following the public hearing, the board will conduct its monthly business meeting, at which time we will vote on the applications. You may stay for the meeting and hear how the applications are decided, or you may leave following the hearing. The applicant and town board will be sent a copy of tonight's decision. Any other person wishing to receive a copy of the decision can sign the sheet on the table at the front of the room. Those of you wishing immediate knowledge of the outcome of these proceedings may call the county zoning office tomorrow morning. The procedure we will follow for hearing the application tonight is the applicant, their agent or representative will have the opportunity to present their application, followed by any questions or comments from the board. Then all correspondence will be read. Then others in favor will have a chance to speak. Anyone objecting will then have a chance to speak. I will then ask for a summary of the board's field observations and any staff comments. Finally, the applicant will be allowed a chance for a brief rebuttal if they wish. Anyone wishing to speak should use the microphone, state their name and direct their comments to the board. I ask that all testimony be kept brief and to the point. If you are testifying as a nearby landowner, please tell us where your property is located relative to the subject property. Tonight's hearing will be recorded and the recordings will become part of the record. Comments that are based on hearsay or secondhand information, as well as slanderous or prejudicial remarks, will be ruled out of order. The board has looked at all the properties and the record will reflect these observations. Any person affected by an administrative decision of this board has 30 days from the filing of tonight's decision to make an appeal. Such appeal shall be heard by the Waushara County Circuit Court. Information is available from the clerk of court's office and qualified legal counsel. The county assumes no liability and makes no warranty as the legality of any construction commenced prior to the expiration of its 30-day period. I'll now introduce the board. John Bentz, George Peterman, Jess Urban, John Scher. I'm Kevin Fitzgerald, under zoning administrator, Tom Wallen. Our variance tonight, table from July 18, 2024 public hearing meeting. James and Patricia Stadden, Wautoma, Wisconsin, have made an application for a variance according with section 58-826 sub B, 58-542 sub C sub 2 of the Waushara County zoning code to construct a 32-foot by 54-foot 3-bedroom single-family dwelling with a 21-foot by 32-foot attached garage, an 11-foot by 32-foot, and a 4.10 feet by 37.10 attached decks to come within 15 feet of both side lot lines, 20 feet required, and 51 feet of the center line of Town Road, Deer Ridge Court, 63 feet required in the AG General Agricultural Zone. Location of parcel of land being part of lot 18 and 19 and government lot 4 of Deer Ridge subdivision, section 8, T18N R11E, Town of Marion, Hills Lake, N1918 Deer Ridge Court. It's the fire number. Jim, you want to come up and tell us a little bit what you want to do?
Okay, sure. So, as this was tabled last time we were here, what happened was we had, Dave Bossart and, people from zoning come out to establish the ordinary high water mark. They did that and, Dave, I don't know if everybody has copies of whatever, but Dave left a survey map with everything that he did and, put our proposed building, our proposed deck, and we met everything behind the 75-foot lot line and the 51-foot road setback.
So all the concerns kind of got taken care of, correct?
Yes,
Okay, I gotta go through these questions.
sure.
Has there, we're gonna do the road setback. Has there been a recent survey and that did happen?
Yes,
We know where the road right of way is, correct?
yes.
Did you talk to the town of Marion about this at all?
I did talk to Dave Chase prior to the July meeting, but I haven't talked to him since then. He kind of laid it out that it is what it is, whatever happens, happens.
As long as you're not in the right of way, I don't think they have too much of a concern. Erosion and stormwater, how are we gonna deal with that?
I will talk to the land conservation people and see what they recommend. So that we can, whatever the gutters or whatever have to go. I've got,
You're gonna have gutters on it, right?
yes, yeah.
Poured concrete foundation.
Yes.
How far above the existing grade will the first floor elevation be?
I'm not 100% sure. I kind of measured it off myself, but I would say it will be about 15 inches above current.
Filling and grading?
Yes.
Any filling?
I hope not. Well, not a whole lot, I don't know that for sure, how much dirt we're gonna need to go back in there, but I'm hoping whatever we take out, we can use to fill around. The north side of the building the grade will virtually be untouched. It'll be pretty much what it is now.
What will the finish height be?
34 feet and 11 5/8 inches, I think it says.
Very good. Any other improvements planned?
No. Amount of money.
All other setbacks be met?
Yes.
You're on a sanitary system there, right? Sewer
Correct.
district?
Yeah, Silver Lake Sanitary.
Gonna have room for parking on the garage slab?
Yes.
What turning around?
No,
Room to turn around?
there'll be no turnaround there.
You've considered other options, we know that. What are your hardships, sir?
Well, our lot is, first of all, it's zoned ag, that doesn't help. We all know the story there. We're small, we're not a big lot there, we know that. And just squeezing, getting in there has been a challenge, but we did meet all the criteria that was set forth to us.
You've been dealing with the zoning office, so you know that there's a lot of permits involved in this whole deal, right?
Yeah, I talked to Todd.
This approval is granted, when would you like to start building?
Well, we hope to, start no later than mid-October.
That's all the questions I have. Board members? Just John?
No,
John?
not for me.
If you worked with the zoning office and you got it the way you want it and
Yeah,
the way we want it to, so
right, exactly,
appreciate it.
no problem.
Okay. Jim, can I have a seat, please, and then we'll give you a rebuttal if you feel you need one. We'll go through our list of stuff here. Correspondence?
We have no correspondence.
Nobody registered in favor, objecting?
Correct. Nobody's registered.
Staff comments?
Okay, everyone should have a final copy of the staff report and then the revised plat of survey that was distributed. If you recall at the last meeting, there was a number of concerns that were raised, as well as some discrepancies that were identified between some on-sites, past on-sites, flagging locations, and dimensions that were provided by the surveyor. There was also concern regarding the extent of the variances. As a result of the debate testimony, the board ultimately tabled the request to tonight to allow the applicant time to revise the plans to reflect a site plan that showed the future home end deck either meeting or exceeding the required 75-foot setback, water setback, or built to establish shoreline averages while maintaining all other required roadway setbacks. Staff was also directed to go out and meet on site with the surveyor so as to establish a unified and agreed upon ordinary high. Staff did meet with Dave Bossard, the surveyor, a week later on Thursday, July 25th. We did establish an agreed upon ordinary high and established all the setbacks so that a new site plan could be prepared. As depicted upon your latest survey map that you have there, you can see the triangular deck, the 75-foot setback line. The house plans have not changed. It's just the house will be pushed back so that it conforms to and exceeds the 75-foot setback, will meet the 51-foot setback to the roadway, center line of the roadway. And then the deck will be a little bit irregularly shaped so as to conform to the 75-foot setback. Staff's reviewed both the original request and that which has recently been modified and believes that the variance request is back in line with similar requests approved in recent year and should not establish a precedent as we go forward. While the board will be making a recommendation on this request later in the evening, staff is recommending approval of the variance as noted in your report and subject to the conditions listed. With regard to the erosion controlled stormwater management plan, Jim and I had a meeting earlier this afternoon. He's agreed to work with land conservation. The question, I guess, that has come up is stormwaters, the gutters and downspouts, do they go into a French drain system or possibly go into water infiltration pits? Either way, water infiltration pits are normally required for stormwater management plans. He would not be required, but something that definitely would be acceptable to us. So I think at the time that he submits for land use permits and building permits, we'll hammer this out. He knows the intent behind it is just to make sure, because we're narrowing down the side lots, we don't want the water shedding onto adjacent properties. And that's all I have.
Will the water naturally flow onto adjacent properties, or will it flow towards the lake?
No, well, if we were to go to the French drains, the way a French drain system is designed is that it would go into a corrugated pipe.
Yep.
And then it would go out with perforations. It would disperse through that. Typically, it terminates about 35 feet into a stone pool.
Yes.
About 35 feet from the water, so then the water can disperse outward. That way we're taking away from the side lot lines and redistributing it back to the water.
You're taking the side
That's correct. That's
and
if
putting it into a French drain system.
correct.
Okay.
That's if we go with the French drain. If we go to water infiltration pits, it'll actually get dispersed right in that location.
Yep, I understand that. Okay, thank you, Todd.
Okay,
Anything on the deck that's changed from the original plan, Todd?
so yes,
You wanna talk about that?
well, if you recall the original deck, and if you look at your original drawings, I forget the dimensions of it. Boy. It was approximately 12 foot by, I want to say 38 feet. But it extended out from the house about 12 feet. What he's doing now is just in that little corner right there. We do allow 5-foot walkways and 5-foot decks. If there's an opening or an entrance there, we do allow those to protrude slightly into required setbacks. So the only little protrusion, that little triangular area there, is a 5-foot walkway. It's actually 4 foot at one point. That will be the only area. Then as soon as he gets back to the 75-foot setback, it'll kind of angle out and match and mirror the 75-foot setback line.
So this diagram that we got in our packet, that's the correct one?
Correct. And I will make sure at the time of land use, that's another thing we talked about at the time of land use permit and building permit submittal. His plans, deck plans per the drawings will have to be revised to reflect a configuration shown in your drawings.
And that's all I got. Anybody else have a question of Todd? Jess? John?
No,
John, any questions?
sounds good.
Okay. Jim, anything you want to say? Rebuttal if you need it? Oh, okay. That'll conclude the public hearing. We'll go into our business meeting. Call to order, show a roll call. 5 of us here. I'll accept a motion for the approval of the agenda. So move. Jess, second. George, all in favor? Motion passed. Approval of minutes from prior meeting, motion. John Benz, second.
I'll second it.
John Shirk, second. All in favor?
Aye.
Motion passed. New business, action on a public hearing.
Mr. Chairman, I'll make a motion to approve.
We have a motion to approve. Is there a second? Who second?
George.
George? Thank you, George. John, your reasons.
An unnecessary hardship is present and the current code requirements would be unnecessarily burdensome and prevent the applicant from using the property for a permitted use because number one, very few alternatives exist. The circumstances are beyond the control of the applicant and are unique to the property and not the applicant. The lot predates zoning regulations and the construction matches the lot and available area. The hardship or unreasonably burdensome limitation of setbacks is due to unique physical features of the property and not the circumstances of the applicant as follows. The lot is very narrow for development, given the underlying AG zoning. Overall, small lot size is there, and it's inconsistent with zoning of the lot. The variance will not harm the public interest or neighboring land uses and damage the intent of the zoning code because visibility is good at the driveway location. Traffic is light, traffic is slowed here. The proposed use will not harm the public, zoning code, or neighboring land uses if conditions are followed. Testimony, well, there was no testimony in opposition. Therefore, the requested variance, if approved, the following conditions shall apply. The development must be in substantial compliance with the site plan and testimony provided at the public hearing. The first floor elevation and filling and grading shall be done in accordance with the site plan and additional information provided at the public hearing. All other required setbacks must be complied with. All permits must be obtained, including land use, building, and proper connection to municipal sewer. At the time, excuse me, of land use and building permit submittal, the plan shall be revised to incorporate gutters and downspouts on the home. Said downspouts shall then be connected to a French drain system. Land conservation personnel can assist with overall design of said system. All code requirements must be complied with. It is the responsibility of the builder and landowner to protect the neighboring lots, lake, and road during construction. Standard erosion plans must be in place prior to construction starting. The applicant will allow agents of Waushara County access to the property to ensure compliance with the terms of this decision, Waushara County codes, and state and federal laws. The landowner is responsible to maintain good visibility at the driveway entrance. The driveway must meet spacing and construction standards of the county and any local or state requirements. The landowner is responsible for determining lot lines and required setbacks. And finally, the building shall not exceed a maximum height of 35 feet.
John, can we go back to number 5? We talked about a
Yep.
French drain, but we also talked about another system we should maybe add there.
Can we could just strike the said downspout shall then be connected, and because then it picks right back up with land conservation personnel can assist with the overall design of said system.
Okay,
Sure. Sounds
You
good.
you wanna get rid of that, said downspouts?
Okay, so yes. So let's eliminate under number 5. The sentence said downspouts shall then be connected to a French drain system, period. Strike that whole sentence.
Yeah.
And then it just takes up after that, land conservation personnel, blah, blah, blah.
Yeah.
And that stays in.
You good with that, Jim?
Just one more thing, as I was listening, and I might have missed it, but I thought number 9 was not stated.
I did not.
Okay.
So I'm gonna state it.
Okay.
My mistake. Sorry about that. Number 9 under possible approval conditions is any future construction cannot occur without first obtaining a variance, which is standard in the conditions. Jim, I just skipped that sentence.
Okay, it's all right. We got it, George caught it.
Thank you, George.
Good job, George. Okay. We had a motion, we had seconds, we've heard the reasons and the additions and subtractions we added to those reasons. We'll take a roll call vote. John Benz. George Peterman.
Aye.
Jess Urban.
Aye.
John Shirk.
Aye.
Kevin Fitzgerald. Aye. 5-0. Good luck, Bill and Jim.
Thank you.
Here's a church meeting.
Thank you.
Okay, we will go to our next order of business. Extensions of variance applications, none.
We have none.
Map interpretations,
None.
next month's public hearing, we have 2, George.
We will have 2 variances.
Okay, And your report,
And if I could, guys, I know it's a short meeting, but just also attached to your packet is a permit comparisons through August 31st. As you can see there from our land use permit numbers, keeping pace with 2022, which was a record year for us. Just based upon the numbers, Laura and I were going through this just yesterday. We've already surpassed 2022 with just an onslaught of land use permits within the last few days. Remarkable. I just, with interest rates and inflation, it's everybody just seems to build additions, single family homes. Speaking of which, I had an onsite with the Gullners that bought sorry, I'm breaking away here, but just had an onsite with the Gullners who just purchased the Boy Scout Camp Napawan, the west side, of 24th there, making way for a 25,000 square foot house. Wow.
25,000.
Yes. They're gonna clear 27,000 square feet of land, and do some grading, so they're gonna be appearing before our committee. The house is 275 feet in length. How much land? It's 17 acres, so it's a big parcel, but it's gonna be located on the ridge between Big Hills and Napawan. You'll see this thing from anywhere on the lake. I mean, it's just that big.
Have they moved that sideways to get away from the wetlands?
So it's actually going to fit, like, where there's a high tension wires that go back there. And there's, I guess, a platted roadway that goes through there. But we pushed it up the hill to get it away from the wetlands, to get it away from the floodplain. It will adhere to all setbacks, but they're gonna need a conditional use because of the amount of excavation that's going to occur. But that's gonna add one heck of a tax base to this county. But I wouldn't want to pay their tax bills, but I sat there and I was like, well, you guys, you're probably gonna want to worry about, your grading and excavating. I'm trying to minimize cost for you. And then I'm thinking 25,000 square foot house. I don't think they're worried about the cost.
They are not.
So, but anyways, I apologize. I diverted away, but
that's fine.
Thanks for the update. I appreciate
yeah,
it.
so, but land use permits, sanitary permits too, up there at the top, and then public hearings here, teetering on, once again, some record numbers. Speaking of permit fees, as I kind of mentioned before the meeting, I did do a survey between some adjoining counties, Green Lake, Marquette, Wapaka, and Adams, and went through all the zoning fees, land use fees, our sanitary fees, CSMs and platting fees. Kind of went through, looked at their averages. Because as part of our budget review process, all departments have been asked to take a very close look at our fee structures and see if there's ways we can increase revenue. By the way, my budget is $78,000 less this year to the levy than it was last year. So I think we're doing our part. Plus, we're going to return a good chunk of change this year. But anyways, the permit numbers, when I look at them, we're probably on the high side when it comes to land use permits and sanitary permits and the like. The one area that we're actually a little, I don't want to say high, we're about average, is the public hearing fees. But, the one thing, and I know Kevin, you and I have talked about it, is that, the people are getting variances and, $300 doesn't seem like a lot of money, for somebody to get a variance and, to vary our codes. So I did a cost analysis just to look at revenue versus the expenses. We average number of hearings that we do per year is about 34 and a half. The average number of hearings per month is about 2.87. Application costs, if we look at 2.87 and we times that by 300, that's $861. If we were to go up to $500, and that's what I'm going to propose to planning and zoning next month, it would rise to $1,435. That sounds like a pretty good number. Here's our expenses. When I look at the stipend of $75 per member, for just the on-sites, okay, because that's $750. Stipend for members, at 10 members, that's P&Z and BOA for public hearing, it's another $750. Our average publication cost is running right now about $225. When I look at security personnel at time and a half, $262. Administrative specialist, Becky, time and a half, $196. Administrator zoning, $249. Total cost to the county is $2,433. So even at $500, we'll be, losing out at about $1,000. But I don't know, I'm gonna present this to P and Z. Our number right now is about 500 to raise it to. Even if we were to raise it to 600, $700, you're still, even at two, and just by the way, these figures do not include the fuel reimbursement for citizen members. So that number would even elevate a little bit higher.
Does P and Z expect the fees to cover the cost? Or does the county budget supplement some of that? So
The county budget does. Well, I mean, the county budget, and
But
I
you-
think it
but
comes
you
out of
are-
administrative. No, it's not coming out of our budget.
no, I understand that. But you aren't expected or under the gun to support yourself.
No, we're good. And we always, and I gotta say, we always have been. I mean, we've been, turning back money, or I should say, giving back money to the general ledger since I've been here.
Yes.
We've been in a very good position. And I say that because we've lost some high-end people. Ed Hernandez left. He was at the high end of deputy director. Josh came in at the low end. So there's a big savings there. When Josh left, he was at the high end of his tech. And then when he left, we hired somebody at step 1, whereas Josh was a step 10 because of his tenure here. So there's a big savings there. This year, I'm probably going to lose John Olson. John's going to be retiring. Rick Ertl is probably going to be retiring in the next couple of years. And then I'm probably going to be retiring here in a few years myself. But which means we're going to be bringing more people in. So I think we're going to continue to see a good savings. But no, I haven't been under the gun, other than I'm trying to do everything I can to help, bolster our revenue here at the county.
Well, you'll have Michelle.
I
and
don't see
Laura.
anything wrong.
What's that?
You'll have Michelle and Laura trickling in there
Yeah,
too.
exactly. Yep. Then we got Michelle and Laura. We've got an aging department.
I don't see anything wrong with the applicants paying for it.
No,
Why are the general taxpayers paying it? It's for their benefit, and they're
Right.
the ones asking for the variance. They're initiating the problem, if you want to call it that.
And if you look at it, I mean, they're getting conditional uses, they're getting variances, they're getting exceptions that not everyone is receiving. And it's kind of like, and I hate to say that, pay to play, but it's, you're kind of, if you want something, you should cover at least the cost, which,
Yeah.
I mean, once again, now that's based upon 2.87 or, to almost 3 public hearings a night. I know there have been times where, like tonight, we have one. This is kind of a rarity. Usually, usually we've always got P and Z like sitting in the wings. But
So,
Let me,
go ahead.
if you raise the fees too high, do you think the people will cheat more?
I don't think they're gonna cheat. I think it'll discourage some people from applying for bogus variances, the ones that they know that they're not going to get approved. It's like, well, for $300, I might as well take a shot.
Yeah.
And I hate to say this, but for people that live on the lake, money right now to these people doesn't seem like it's anything to them.
It's not.
Houses just sold on Silver on the back road, 1 for $1 million,
Yeah.
and the estate sale at one, the house went for over 800,000.
So, that's why I say, raising. And I just, I know that's why I'm watching what I say. But I just think that, we have to look at things creative ways, and I am gonna I've got some ideas, and that, in terms of how we can raise some revenue here. And I do plan on sitting down with Megan and talking about some things. Economic development is one, in terms of other ways that we can raise some revenue here. And that's something that I'm gonna, propose to Megan. Something I've always loved to do is get out there and talk to developers, talk to land management managers and things like that. So we got some work cut out for us. I think we were, what was the last? I heard $200,000, I think, but that's borrowing $1 million. We're like over $1 million right now in the red. So, it's
County or?
the county. So, and it's just, it's rising costs, it's, people expect the same, if not better, things from the county, services from the county. It's tough. It seems like every year it's a balancing act.
Well, my only concern when I asked that question was with the surplus that you roll over into the county budget at the end of the year, does the county board recognize that even though sometimes you may be operating at a deficit, overall, you're pretty profitable?
Yes, they do.
Okay.
Yep.
Not me.
What? No, I mean, and that's one thing.
To the fire, that's what I say.
No, because
Well, no politician ever has enough money.
yeah,
Huh?
no, but that's one thing that I always try to point out, one thing when I get up and give my annual report, and that's typically in March, I highlight the fact that, how much money we've given back to the ledger. And, I gotta say kudos to Becky and Michelle and Laura. They're the people that are doing the brunt of the work, putting together the packets, putting together everything that you see before you. They do a phenomenal job, and it's taxing after a while when it's just continual. There's like no break. I know a lot of times we like to delve into the zoning ordinance, see if there's inconsistencies or issues within our zoning ordinance. We haven't even really had a chance to break into that. And then throw in here, we had just had that move. So I think our office has done a phenomenal job.
Our zoning books haven't been updated in a while, have they? Our personal ones.
You should, don't you get, these guys all get their individual, like the updates.
Binder? No. I haven't got one in years.
All right. I will, what I'm gonna do is
Because of state law changes and
Yeah.
court decisions.
oh,
You know,
okay,
go ahead.
Speaking of court, I'm going back to court. No, Project Harmony appealed the decision from the Planning and Zoning Committee. So that'll go before Scott Blader. We don't have a date yet, but they did just recently, submitted for their appeal.
That's on a long way.
Yeah, that's that motel hotel. They were denied. So, but I think that we have excellent standing. I don't think they have a shot, but let them take it.
The way the system works.
There'll be a lot of letters to the court on that one.
Well, and I'm definitely gonna leak the date, to Long Lake Association that this is what date we're going to court. Just so that Scott can see all of his constituents sitting out in the crowd. That's all I've got,
Anything
gentlemen.
else? Any questions, comments? Becky, thank you. Motion to adjourn.
I'll make it.
Second.
I second.
All in favor?
Aye.
Would it help for you guys? Do you want me to print you up new zoning manuals for new zoning ordinances? Up to date?
I know I got one last year.
Okay. I know that there have.
I have a binder.
Right,
You know what a
but
binder
you should get every year, get revision.